Tribe 9 is set in a city called Neo-Tokyo, where every young man in the city competes with each other to become the strongest player in a game called Xtream Baseball. It was a very dangerous game because every player would risk their lives in that game. The winning team in any Xtream Baseball game has the right to ask or do anything to the team they beat. One time, a young man named Haru was bullied by a group of criminals and almost killed in an alley. Fortunately, a young man named Kamiya Shun came and warned them not to make a scene in his territory. Due to his appearance and thin body, some criminals underestimated him. But after Kamiya showed his strength and skill in fighting, they started to get scared and apologized to him. After that, Kamiya invites Haru and another young man named Taga to come to his headquarters to become a new member of his Xtream Baseball team called the Monado Tribe. After arriving at the baseball field for practice, Kamiya introduces them to a girl named Saori, a catcher on his team. That day, Monado Tribe will have a match against Shinagawa's team, and Kamiya asks Haru and Taga to join in the match. At first, Monado Tribe looked like having a hard time because the opposing team used a fire bat, and Taga got an electric shock for trying to kill the opponent before getting the ball. After Taga made it to first base, Haru got his next turn to hit the ball, but he looked nervous. Fortunately, even though he still doesn't know the correct hitting technique, he manages to hit the ball thrown by the opposing pitcher. Unexpectedly, Haru managed to reach first base and dodge every attack from the opponent. When it was Kamiya's turn to hit the ball, the opponent tried to use the strongest pitcher tool, but he overcame it all, and his team managed to win the match. The next day, Haru and Taga are officially announced as new members of the Monado Tribe, and they begin to learn all the rules of Xtream Baseball. That night, Kamiya invites his members to play Xtream Baseball, where he will fight all his team members alone. In that match, some rules will be slightly changed to make it easier for team members to win against Kamiya. Everyone who manages to reach first base will immediately get points, and the location of first base is also changed to be closer. Taga got the first turn to hit the ball but couldn't hit any of the balls that Kamiya threw. When it was Haru's turn to hit the ball, he hit Kamiya's ball on the third throw and made it to first base. During the next round, it was Kamiya's turn to hit the ball, and he tossed it into the sky with just one hit. Haru had to then run to pick up the ball and hand it over to Taga, so Taga could face Kamiya. However, all the attacks Taga did were still unable to kill Kamiya because of his fast movement. Elsewhere, a young man named Otori Ojiro slaughters all the tribes so he can become a stronger and more powerful person. After he hears that the Monado Tribe is one of the legendary strongest clans in Neo-Tokyo, Otori decides to challenge Kamiya so that their teams compete against each other in an Xtream Baseball game. Unaware of the power and the cruel things Otori had done, Kamiya casually accepted the challenge. Before the match started, Kamiya told all his team members that it was a very special match and asked them to always fight to win the match even though their enemy was very strong. In that match, Otori's punches looked so strong and dangerous that Kamiya decided to play the pitcher while Saori became the catcher. When it was his turn to hit the ball, Kamiya managed to make the strongest blow that damaged Otori's mask. When Kamiya was about to reach first base, Otori managed to block him and attacked him with a fatal attack. Even so, he was still trying to hold on to survive and fight against Otori. At the last moment, he was about to make a final attack. Still, his body suddenly stiffened, so Kamiya couldn't land his blow and was seriously injured by Otori's counterattack. In the end, the Monado Tribe lost the match and Otori, the winner of the match, decided to disband Monado Tribe. Moments after the Monado Tribe disbanded, Kamiya was reported to have died from severe injuries and a medical condition hidden by him. Monado Tribe members looked sad at his departure because all these bad things happened too suddenly. During this time, Kamiya's health condition had deteriorated due to a very dangerous disease. Still, the only member of the Monado Tribe who knew about it was Santoru, one of his trusted members. News of Kamiya's death slowly began to spread among the baseball team group in Neo-Tokyo. Hearing about this, one of the baseball teams decides to kidnap Saori and threatens all the former members of the Monado Tribe for a match. The baseball team is called the Adachi Clan, led by an arrogant young man named Sanju, who is obsessed with becoming a team that can dominate the entire team in Neo-Tokyo. Upon hearing the news that Saori had been kidnapped, the entire Monado Tribe immediately rushed to the Adachi Clan headquarters and took all the baseball equipment that Kamiya had left behind. The next day, when the Adachi and Monado teams were about to compete, a young man named Aoyama Kazuki appeared and said that Kamiya had previously told him to help the Monado Tribe. He said that the Monado Tribe had only relied on speed and strength in matches all this time, so he advised them to start devising the best strategy to defeat the enemy. After implementing the strategy created by Aoyama, the Monado Tribe, who initially doubted they could defeat the Adachi Clan, finally won the first round. Some team members seem amazed by Aoyama's intelligence in strategizing. However, Taga and Haru still can't accept him as part of their group because they don't want to be played by him. So, in the next round, Taga decided not to carry out the strategy that Aoyama had made, making them lose in the second round match. Aoyama becomes pessimistic and says that the Monado tribe can't survive without Kamiya, but Saori denies that and proves that their spirit is still alive. After the match, Saori intends to re-establish the Monado tribe team to maintain everything Kamiya has built. All members agreed to appoint her as their leader and accepted Aoyama as a new member of their team. In the following days, Taga kept trying to train all day to become the best hitter. Haru always supports and encourages Taga, who is still not confident in his abilities, so he never gives up on fighting. After that, Aoyama went to Taga to meet the best baseball player, Hanafuda, so he could get the best coach. However, after arriving at Hanafuda's headquarters and begging him to accept Taga as his student, Hanafuda immediately rejected and mocked him. A few days later, Hanafuda finally decided to accept Taga as his student. He invited Taga to practice in a remote place. Hanafuda ordered him to swing the stick 1,000 times every day to train his punching power. Although Taga complained a lot at first because the log he had to swing was very large, he still did it according to Hanafuda's orders. One day, Haru almost caught a mysterious man who was about to steal Kamiya's bat, but after chasing the thief, he met Aoyama instead. When he saw that Aoyama's hand had the same wound as the previous thief's, he thought that Aoyama was the thief, but Aoyama immediately denied the accusation. Since then, Haru has been trying to keep the bat from being stolen. However, because he still can't control the stick, he accidentally makes a fuss and destroys some of the team's equipment, causing considerable losses. Haru, who feels guilty, intends to find a job to collect enough money to compensate for all these losses. At the same time, Aoyama informed that there would be a very expensive baseball game soon. The Monado tribe team decides to enter the match and compete with other baseball teams to win a prize of 10 million yen. However, Haru felt something was wrong as the match progressed because every team they played against seemed inexperienced and too easy to beat. It turns out that the match was just a trick devised by a man from the Setagaya clan to trap the Monado tribe so he could steal Kamiya's bat. Luckily, Aoyama managed to save it so Haru could continue to use it. On the other hand, a woman named Yui Kamaki, who belongs to the Chiyota tribe, the same clan as the Ojiro Otori clan, comes to the Oda tribe's headquarters. She purposely came to that place to ask Fuko Tsunoda for help to finish off and kill Aoyama by paying a lot of money. Tsunoda is a very cruel and always cold person who always wins every battle he faces. The following night, members of the Oda tribe began doing everything they could to harm the members of the Monado tribe, including Aoyama. They not only threw grenades, attacked with sharp weapons, or tried to hit him with a car, but also used missile weapons to blow up the Monado tribe's headquarters. Fortunately, all members of the Monado tribe survived the attack, including Aoyama, who was their target from the start. Saori then challenges them to an extreme baseball match to determine their next decision. When the baseball game between the Monado and Oda tribe started, Tsunoda seemed to be lazy and left everything to his men. It turns out that the Oda tribe members don't understand the rules of extreme baseball, so Monado tribe managed to get a lot of points quickly. Soon after that, Tsunoda realized his team was close to losing due to being left behind by many points. He then tried to cheat and tried to kill Aoyama. Luckily, a surveillance camera was watching them, so he canceled his plan. After that, the Oda tribe used a device to turn off the surveillance cameras so they could carry out various acts of violence without them being noticed. Afterward, Tsunoda explained that he attacked Aoyama not because of money but because he knew about Aoyama's past. In the past, Aoyama had competed with Ojiro Otori for the position of the heir to the Otori family, but he was expelled by the king because he lost to Ojiro. What's more, Ojiro purposely broke Aoyama's right arm so he would never be able to play extreme baseball again. In addition, it is revealed that he joined the Monado tribe to get revenge on Ojiro. On the other hand, when Monado tribe was in a crisis, Taga suddenly came after he fled the training ground without telling Hanafuda. After the intense training he had undergone so far, he was finally able to hit the ball with a very hard punch, and it bounced very high. After the match continued, the Oda tribe cheated by dropping many runners so they could get many points. Therefore, Aoyama suggested that they immediately fix the surveillance cameras so that the Oda tribe could not cheat. After fixing the surveillance camera, it turned out that the Oda tribe had managed to equalize their points with the Monado tribe so that this time they had to fight harder to win the match. In the final round, Haru managed to control Kamiya's bat and get enough points to make the Monado tribe win the match. After the match, all Monado tribe members celebrated their victory by drinking beer. On the other hand, Ojiro turned out to have killed the king of Neo-Tokyo because he was fed up with the king's behavior, who always acted arbitrarily and selfishly. Yui, Ojiro's secretary, announced to all the residents of Neo-Tokyo about the birth of a new king as a successor to the previous king. As the new king, Ojiro announced that all authority in Neo Tokyo would be under his rule, and he would try to formulate new laws for extreme baseball. In this new law, every player is allowed to commit various types of violence and murder in the game, and every winner in an extreme baseball game should be allowed to ask or do anything to the team they beat without exception. In addition, every extreme baseball team that wins multiple matches will receive awards and prizes directly from the kingdom. Since the new rules were enacted, many people have fallen victim and died in the match, so Monado tribe had to be more careful. Moreover, that day, Yui invited them to compete against the Chiyota tribe. However, all members of the Monado tribe intend to refuse the invitation to the match. Unfortunately, according to the new regulations, they were forbidden to refuse a match invitation from the kingdom, so they had no choice but to accept the invitation. After Yui leaves, Haru tells Saori that he wants to fight against the Chiyota tribe because he thinks it's a way to bring back the old extreme baseball rules. The other Monado tribe members have also agreed to fight together to win this match so that they can turn baseball into a fairer game. The next day, the baseball game between Monado and Chiyota's tribe began. Monado tribe members looked surprised when they realized that all of the Chiyota tribe members had now been completely replaced with players who were far more powerful and had the abilities of a tribe leader. During the match, the players from the Chiyota tribe carried out various acts of violence until several members of the Monado tribe were seriously injured. Fortunately, some of the strongest members from other tribes are willing to help them defeat Chiyota tribe together. When the fighting strength of the two teams was balanced, Yui decided to participate in the match as a pitcher. She threw the ball with a powerful kick that shattered the batter's bat and injured the batter's hand. After she joined the match, Chiyota tribe became superior and gained more points than Monado tribe. Fortunately, in times of crisis, Hanafuda came and helped them to deal with attacks from Yui. When she was about to cheat and intend to kill Hanafuda, Ojiro suddenly appeared and immediately kicked her out because she had behaved recklessly, reminding him of the previous king. After Yui leaves the match venue, she begins to carry out her plan to destroy the Otori family and the Chiyota tribe so that she can establish a new government. The match was continued during the chaos caused by Yui. Ojiro joins the match, and a fierce battle between him and Aoyama is unavoidable. Unfortunately, it seems difficult to attack Ojiro because his left hand is still injured, and he can't use all his strength. After Ojiro manages to beat Aoyama, Taga comes to fight him while Haru runs towards home plate. In the middle of a city collapsing and getting more chaotic, the match between Monado and Chiyota tribe continues. Fortunately, thanks to the cooperation and cohesiveness of all members of the Monado tribe, they finally won the match. At the end of this anime, the Monado tribe team's dream to change the game of extreme baseball to a fairer one has finally come true. The moral that can be learned from this anime is, the risks we take to change things for the better will be worth the good results we will receive when we reach our goals.